Hello everyone and welcome to Figure Talk. My name is Johnny and Figure Talk is a brand new show that we're doing here on this channel where we're going to be going over all the latest news and releases in the world of 6th scale and collectible figures. Now, it's a brand new year. We've just hit 2018. I hope everybody had an amazing Christmas and an amazing New Year. I, for one, am very, very happy with my Christmas haul as I got this guy. This is my Deadpool 6th scale figure from Sideshow. I absolutely love him. I wanted him over the movie version of Deadpool just because he comes with so much more accessories and I just love the style of him. So, without further ado, let's jump straight into what we got this week from all the big companies out there. So, as part of Sideshow's 12 Days of Sideshow, they teased a new continuation of their Mythos 1/6 scale line for their Star Wars figures. Now, they teased Boba Fett. Now, you can't really gauge much from this teaser. It's only one picture and it's basically shadowed out a lot of it. But I actually think it looks like it's going to be a good figure. Now, the Mythos Ben Kenobi came with a lot of accessories that makes him stand out and noticeable as the Mythos Obi-Wan. Now, I don't know how much more they're going to give Boba Fett. I'm hoping that he gets some really cool stuff. It looks like he's got the poncho that goes over his shoulders. That looks really good. So I'm hoping we can see more of that in the coming weeks, and that he's going to be really good and he's going to help continue on this Mythos line. Now, the next teaser we got was from Hot Toys. Now, Hot Toys actually put out a small teaser just basically to announce that they are going to be producing 6th scale figures from Black Panther. Now, this was inevitable. It's a Marvel movie. Hot Toys always covers the Marvel stuff. They've only teased Black Panther himself at the moment. Now, I'm kind of hoping that Black Panther is going to get an unmasked portrait, because it was kind of like the Civil War Black Panther kind of lacked in accessories. It was basically just him on his own, and that was pretty much it. So I'm kind of hoping that we get a lot more accessories and an unmasked portrait for Black Panther. I'm hoping they also continue on and do like Killmonger and maybe even a Ulysses Claw. I think that would be quite a cool figure to see as well from that lineup. So, we also had a bunch of production shots that came out for figures that are being released or have been released over the sort of last week or so, over the Christmas period. Now, first up, we had the die-cast Iron Man Mark 6 figure. Now, I have to say, this is an amazing looking figure, and I'm really jealous of everybody that managed to get hold of him. I know some people had some concerns about the hip. People said that the hip joint, there was too much of a gap. But if you actually, if you're in any of the 1/6 Society or 1/6 Republic, you'll actually probably have noticed Budget Stark's photos of the Mark 6 die-cast figure, and how when you actually push the hips up, it pushes out the back fins on the suit, on the back of the suit, and you can and by having the hips down, it opens up and you can get a lot more articulation out of it. It's a very, very wide range of articulation on this figure when you have those hips pulled down a bit. So it's a brilliant figure. It's shipping now. People can get that if you want to get. If you haven't got one and you want to get one, I've been leaving links in the description for everything that I'm going to be talking about here. The next one that they showed was the Spider-Man Homecoming, like the official Spider-Man suit for Spider-Man Homecoming, featuring the unmasked portrait of Tom Holland. The portrait looks okay. It's not quite there. I do think there was more that they could have done with that. But it turns out that a lot of people were very happy that managed to get this one, because they actually added the insta-kill eyes that you can add onto it comes with swap out eyes. You can add this insta-kill. So very closed down lenses with the red in the center. It looks like a really good figure. I actually quite like it. A few people have complained about the neck joint, but unfortunately, because Spider-Man is an all-in-one suit, and to get an unmasked portrait and to be able to have swap out heads and to get any real sort of neck articulation, they've had to make it like the suit goes all the way up to like here, where the back of the neck is. Some people don't like that because some of the back production shots have shown quite a lot. Like, it's got like a really long, like a giraffe neck. But you know, if you're posing him from the front and you've got him in like a nice action pose, he's not going to look too bad. And he's actually, I think he's quite a nice looking figure. Now the next one they showed, actually they showed this before the Spider-Man suit, was the homemade Spider-Man suit. This is again from Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, this one, I feel a little bit indifferent when it comes to this one because the suit looks terrible. But the problem is with that is the suit looks terrible in the film. Like, it's a homemade suit, it's not meant to look great. So in terms of what the figure looks like, in terms of screen accuracy, I actually think it's a really good figure. But I don't think it's one I'm going to put in my collection because I just don't like the suit from the film. I really wish that they would have actually had him in that suit normally. And then, you know, the Iron Spider looking one that we see at the very, very end of the film, that's like the special one that he was given throughout the film. But we didn't get that. If you want it, it is a very nice looking figure. I've seen people put it in some nice poses. It's not one for me. But if you do have it or you are getting it, congratulations, because it looks like it has turned out incredibly well from the prototypes. Now, the only other one I want to talk about is not from Hot Toys, it's not from Sideshow. I actually want to cover Damn Toys. Now, some of you are familiar with their Gangster Kingdom lineup. It's quite a controversial lineup because it's basically like the figures look like real people, but the portraits have been so sort of caricaturized that they can kind of get away without having to pay any, I'm assuming, royalties or like a licensing for the face. Now, this one that they showed was a production shot of the Hart Benson. Now, Hart Benson, from what I can see, I kind of think he looks like 50 Cent. He's actually quite a nice looking figure if you can kind of get over the caricature style face. He comes with like a leather sofa for him to sit on, ton of accessories. He is actually quite a nice looking figure as long as you are okay and you're okay to deal with the very strange sort of, you know, intentionally inaccurate face portraits on it. So now we're going to move along onto the pre-orders that we got this week. Now, a whole bunch of stuff actually went up this week. I mean, these companies really did start off with a bang for 2018. Hot Toys surprised a lot of people with a die-cast Mark IV Iron Man suit with the suit-up gantry. Now, bear with me on this one because you guys need to know this, that actually the gantry is not die-cast. The gantry, if you already have the existing or the old Hot Toys Iron Man gantry, it is, by the looks of it, no different to what this new one is here. It's exactly the same gantry. The only difference is they are offering it with a die-cast Iron Man figure. Now, the figure looks very nice. The figure has 30 points of articulation. It comes with interchangeable shoulder pads, a chest, forearms. So, you know, you've got battle damage and like weapons exposed and stuff like that. Looks really good. An unmasked Tony Stark portrait. Again, you know, they're pretty much cracked it when it comes to Iron Man stuff. You know, the accuracy is just slightly off, but you know, you're never really going to get it 100% accurate. It also comes with a bunch of interchangeable hands. You've got fists. You've got fully articulated fingers, so you can have him in various different poses that you want him in. And you get, you know, the iconic repulsor blasts, hands open, you know, firing the shots out. If you do not want to have him shown with the gantry, you can obviously have him in a more of an action pose. But if you do already have the Iron Man gantry, or you are not bothered by getting the gantry in any way, shape or form, you can get the Mark IV diecast Iron Man on his own. Still comes with all the accessories and the swap out parts for his suit. Also comes with a pair of sunglasses for the unmasked portrait. You can get a coffee cup and you can get donuts. So you can kind of recreate that scene in Iron Man 2 where he's sat inside the big donut on top of the donut shop, sipping his coffee, not a care in the world because he's dying and he's just kind of given up on life. So there's plenty of stuff to go with that, and I think anybody that gets this piece is going to be very happy with it. Every time Hot Toys releases an Iron Man figure, they take it just that one step higher. The articulation is just that little bit better. The attention to detail is just that little bit better. So I really think you know, you can't really go wrong with this one. And it's die-cast, so it's actually metal. So it's going to feel more like a real Iron Man suit. So the next one up, we had Asmus Toys. I apologise if I butchered that name. If it's pronounced any way differently, let me know. They released a Dante from Devil May Cry. Now, the Devil May Cry video game series is an immensely popular video game series. Dante is probably the most recognisable character from him. And they, on the Sideshow website, they've put up a luxury edition or a deluxe edition, which comes with a diorama base, which has like a defeated demon or monster. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the games that he's actually in. I know of the games, I just haven't really played them. But, you know, he stood atop this defeated enemy. He's got his giant sword, you know, he's got his big red leather jacket. He comes with a ton of swap outs. He's got like 3 different weapons. I think he's got guns as well as the big sword that he's holding. You've got different hands. So you've got fists, relaxed hands. You've got weapon wielding, so swords, so to hold his swords and stuff. And you also have the gun wielding hands that you can swap him out with. He's a brilliant figure. He's available to order on Sideshow website along with that Iron Man Mark IV right now. Also, Quantum Mechanics has introduced another one from their Star Trek lineup. Now, they already did a Jean-Luc Picard, but it looks like they've actually extended and done another Jean-Luc Picard. This time, you know, they've just tweaked the face sculpt. I think the face sculpt is a bit more there than it was in the previous ones. Some of the shots did kind of make his head look very strange, but Patrick Stewart does have quite a strange head shape to start with. So I'll kind of let him slide with that one. This one, I'm not familiar with Quantum Mechanics. I don't know how well their articulation is or how well these figures are constructed, but I actually quite like it. I think it's quite a nice looking figure. It comes with a ton of accessories. Here he has his tricorder, he has a phaser rifle, he has his standard phaser gun. He also has a pad, which is apparently, I've written it down here, stands for a personal access display device. And he also comes with a teacup. Now, I actually quite like this. I think if I was to get him, I'm English, so I do like my cups of tea. I'd probably have him displayed sipping a good old cup of tea. Because it's Patrick Stewart, he's English, I'm English. Feels only natural that we're going to sit down, we're going to chill and have a cup of tea together. So, there was one more that 2018 has offered us. Now, this one is the one that I think is sort of the biggest dud of the entire lineup. Like, I would probably be relatively happy with all of these ones. I'd be over the moon with the Iron Man gantry if I was to get him. But Star Race Toys make a lot of Harry Potter stuff. Now, they showed off Lucius Malfoy. Now, Lucius Malfoy is probably one of my favourite sort of villains behind Lord Voldemort. I just think Lucius Malfoy was such a creep, and he was really, really good in the movies. Now, the problem is the Star Race Toys Lucius Malfoy looks nothing like Lucius Malfoy. Like, literally nothing at all. Like, somebody put in in the comment section on the Star Race post for it, and they put a side-by-side shot of the Star Race figure and Lucius Malfoy from the movies, and they look absolutely nothing alike. You know, somebody even pointed out, you know, he's got his black gloves on, and they've actually got fingernails on the gloves. Like, he's wearing gloves. You shouldn't be able to see fingernails, but it's almost like they've kind of haphazardly thrown this one together. The head is bigger than the body. The hands, obviously, like I say, I think they're normal hands that they've just added a bit of extra details over and painted black because they still have fingernails on them. Just so many things seem to have gone wrong with this figure. You know, I would leave a link in the description for you to go buy and get one of these, but I don't think many people are actually going to bother to buy this one. So that's probably about all we've got this week in terms of figures and collectible figures. I mean, NECA did release I wouldn't really call it a figure, not in terms of like the 6 scale figures. It's almost like a demorphosized Jason Voorhees. He's got a really big head. It kind of looks like if I was to get like a 2-year-old and put him in a Jason Voorhees setup costume. It just doesn't look right. He's 15 inches tall. He's only about $95, I think it is. But it's not for me. It's not what I'm particularly keen on anyways. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this very first episode of Figure Talk. Don't worry, I know you probably cringed like mad through half of this, but the more I do this, the more I'm going to get happy with it, and the more comfortable I'm going to feel on camera, and hopefully the more you're going to enjoy my videos. So, like I said, that's all we've got time for. If you did actually like this one for some strange reason, please, I would very much appreciate you hitting the subscribe button on the channel. Also, if you want to interact with me more directly, I do run a Facebook group called the Nerd Pool. I will be leaving a link in the description below, so anybody that does actually want to come along and join and interact with me, feel free to do so. We would love to have you there. So, that's all we've got time for this week. We'll be back next week with another episode of Figure Talk with plenty more to discuss. We'll see you guys next week.